The Earth has a cycle of life on its own, where an element or a compound, such as water, moves through various living forms, non-living forms, and locations in the biosphere, which is called a biogeochemical cycle. Carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur, or synopes, are elements that have their own unique cycle that demonstrates how energy flows directionally through the Earth's ecosystem, where these cycles move the essential elements for life to sustain. They are vital as they recycle elements and store them, moreover, regulating the vital sustain. They are vital as they recycle elements and store them, making this depict the association between living and non-living things in the ecosystem and enable the continuous survival of ecosystems. But one cycle is particularly important driver of the other biochemical cycles, which is the water cycle. The hydrosphere is 71% of the Earth's surface, and the set of places where water can be found, which is large and diverse. Water is present as a liquid on the Earth's surface and underneath the ground, as ice in the polar ice caps and glaciers, and as water vapor in the atmosphere. The water movement is critical for the leaching of nitrogen and phosphate into rivers, lakes, and oceans, and that these oceans are a major reservoir or a holding tank for carbon. Furthermore, water contains hydrogen and oxygen, which is essential for living organisms, that places the water cycle pretty high on the list of cycles. In other words, no water means no life, but some human activities have disturbed the water cycle and thereby affect related ecosystems, mainly the anthropogenic effect. Anthropogenic effects are about human impact on the environment, referring to changes to biophysical environments and ecosystems, biodiversity, and natural resources caused directly or indirect by humans. We have been polluting aquatic environments with a high quantity of organic pollutants or substances such as pesticides, solvents, halogenated compounds, petroleum hydrocarbons, and phthalate esters. Human activities had affected marine life and marine habitats through overfishing, habitat loss, ocean polluting, ocean acidification, ocean warming, and the introduction of invasive species, causing more problems and harm to our environment. Now let's talk about invasive species. What about invasive species? People and the goods we use traveling around the world in different vehicles would often carry uninvited species with them, which is called invasive species. Invasive species are primarily spread by human activities, often unintentionally. These are organisms that are not indigenous or native to a particular area, which can cause great economic and environmental harm to the new era. Invasive species may displace native species, which would decrease the efficacy of ecosystem services, causing significant losses to the economy. The plants form monospecific stands and impede water movement. This is in turn in addition negative effects to reduce oxygen level, bad odor of water, and hence diseases the quality of water. An example of its effect is the extreme growth of aquatic weeds that may lead to flooding by blocking inlet water channels and leaving no open space for water movement. Aquatic invasions are a significant setback to the livelihood of the local communities living in lakes and depend on water resources. Moreover, excessive growth of weeds can lead to fish stunting and overpopulation. This occurs because the production of too much habitat prevents the effective feeding of small fish by larger fish. Aquatic weeds can cause fish kills. This usually occurs because oxygen is taken out of the water. Now, with all the changes occurred through our actions, This is a study of how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way our genes work, and this is called epigenetics. Aquatic organisms live in an aquatic environment. Their growth, development, and reproduction are influenced by environmental conditions, nutrition, infectious diseases, and toxic compounds in the aquatic system. The epigenome is the genome-wide covalent modification of DNA and its binding proteins. Epigenetic changes contribute to phenotypic plasticity because they are reversible and do not alter the actual DNA sequence. DNA, methylation, and histone modifications are the major epigenetic marks that regulate gene expression in response to developmental and environmental influences. Unlike DNA sequence mutations, epigenetic modifications are rapid and reversible and result in changes in gene expression to better adapt to the environment. Phenotypic variations such as growth, reproductive performance, pH, salt, temperature tolerance, and disease resistance can be explained by epigenetic plasticity. This explains how we are able to adapt to our environment and how living things adapt to the environmental issues we put them through. Now that we've learned the effects of our actions in the environment, we should all be reminded that be wary of our actions and take care of our environment. Thank you.